Hey YouTube, it's Ebony here. Today this video is going to be talking about something a little more personal and different than my other two videos that I posted a while ago. My other two videos were more about nursing. Today I'm going to be talking about weight loss surgery and kind of some things that go along with that, specifically the pre-op diet. So just to give you a little bit of background, um, I decided to get gastric sleeve surgery back in October of 2017. We are now in February. Today is February 18th. And I will be getting my surgery on February 20th. So 2 more days. And before surgery, you have to go on a liquid diet. Every institution does it a little differently. I've heard some people say that they didn't even have to do a liquid diet, but for my hospital that I'm going to, we do have to do a 2 week pre-op liquid diet. Liquid. The reason why I say liquid is because we are allowed to eat vegetables. We're allowed to have 2 cups of vegetables a day, just plain vegetables or a plain salad, or well, not a plain salad, but you could have a salad with a bunch of veggies thrown in it. um so I'm kind of here just kind of go over it, to give some tips that kind of help me get through it, and to give you some of my faults through it as well. So I actually started my pre-op diet, well, modified, um, probably the end of January. And the reason why I did this was because I had my final appointment and education session on February 1st, my final pre-op and weigh-in before surgery, on February 1st. And I had gone on vacation in January, the beginning of January, and I gained a couple pounds. So when I went into my surgeon, I weighed in at I think 276 or 277. That's the highest weight I've ever been. I went on vacation and I gained about 5 to 6 pounds just from all the eating and the bloating and everything else. So when I came back, I really had to get on the ball. And although I was losing weight, I kind of was, I backtracked myself, because although as it got closer, I had gotten back down to 276. So I had gained like 5 or 6 pounds in California. Came home and I had lost about 10 pounds in total, but it didn't look like I lost any. It wouldn't have looked like I lost anything to my surgeon, because I was kind of around the same weight. I was like 275. So to him, it would have looked like it's over a month's time I lost a pound or two, when really I had lost 10. But I wasn't going to tell him that I had gained weight. So I kind of started a modified liquid diet. This was not at the recommendation of my nutritionist. I kind of was embarrassed, so I didn't want to call them for advice. So I kind of just did a lot of research and looked up different variations of pre-op liquid diet, and mostly pertaining to weight loss. It wasn't just a random. I specifically searched about liquid diets related to weight loss surgery. And my mother has gotten weight loss surgery about 3 years ago, so there were some things that she was able to help me out with as well. So what I did was I bought Premier protein shakes from Costco. They actually were having a sale on them, so I was like, okay, perfect. I bought those and I was drinking about 2 a day, and I was having um, small meals. I mean, small, probably. I can't. I was using like a Tupperware bowl, and honestly, the bowl was probably about this big, lengthwise, and depthwise about that big. So it was literally like a square, um, and about this much depth. And I would put mostly vegetables and protein. So usually vegetables and chicken or beef, mostly chicken. I would drink a protein shake in the morning. I would have the vegetables and the chicken for lunch with a very, very small amount of grains. And what I would eat was brown rice mixed with quinoa. And I would probably eat about an ounce of that. I mean, I was eating very small portions. And then I would have another protein shake in the afternoon. And when I came home from work or later in the day for dinner, I would have, excuse me, I would have the same type of thing, vegetables and a protein. And I usually wouldn't have any carbs. I started cutting out carbs like very early on. I honestly, the amount of carbs that I was eating, well, grains actually, the amount of grains that I was eating, I mean, an ounce is really not a lot. I don't know, maybe it might have been like 2 ounces. It was honestly probably 2 tablespoons worth of rice and quinoa. So it really wasn't a lot. But that's one of my biggest areas. That's one of my like, kryptonite. So I really started cutting that out right away when I got back home. But like I said, my final meeting with my surgeon and information session was going to be February 1st. So I was like, oh, I got to figure out a way to get down. So that's why I started the modified, and I started having the 2 protein shakes a day. So when I had my appointment on the 1st, I weighed in at, I believe, 270 or 271. So, it didn't look like a whole lot to, it still didn't look like a whole lot based off the fact that I haven't seen him since the end of December. But at least I wasn't right there. It looked like I lost about 5 or 6 pounds in a month. So that, I mean, that's really not that bad. I was exercising and walking on the treadmill and stuff, and I think that's kind of what helped me kickstart the weight loss. So February 1st, I have my meeting with my surgeon, my anesthesiologist, and we had a final kind of information session going over, the pre-op diet, what to expect in the hospital, and all those things. And so the pre-op diet, they mainly do it for, they call it the liver shrinking diet. So what happens is usually for people who are overweight, the things that we eat, they're not good for us, and, kind of makes our liver work a lot harder and get a little inflamed. So they put us on the liquid diet because it allows the inflammation to come down, and it allows our liver to shrink a little bit, which is good for surgery because it helps decrease your risk of any injuries happening to your liver. When they go inside you and have to reroute, whether you're getting bypass or cut your stomach, your liver is very close to all of that. So if they can shrink your liver down a little bit, it helps them have an easier operation on you, and it decreases your risk of any, injuries happening during the surgery, during the procedure of them maybe, I don't know, nicking it or anything, anything. So it is really for your benefit. And it does help you lose some extra pounds. If you're struggling to lose the weight, the 2 week liver shrinking or liquid diet will help you lose those last couple pounds. So like I said, I weighed in at 270 or 271. So after that meeting, I got strictly, on the liquid diet, and I actually was not even eating the vegetables at all, because to be honest, I'm really not a big vegetable person. I'm just gonna admit that I really am not a big vegetable person. If I do eat vegetables, it's like the same type of stuff like broccoli and Brussels sprouts and cauliflower. Like I don't really, in order for me to enjoy vegetables, I honestly have to season them and make them taste like chicken. So I just was like, you know what, I'm not even gonna mess with it. But they do recommend you to have the vegetables at my institution because of the fiber. So it helps you, stay regular with your bowel movements and things. But I wasn't having any trouble with that, so I was just like, whatever. But then I felt like, I was hitting like a wall. And I also felt like, sorry, I thought somebody was walking up to my thing. Okay. I also felt like I was starting to get to a point of like insanity. Like, you know, your mind starts playing tricks on you. And it was getting really hard for me. And I did end up cheating at the end of the first week. And I had eaten like rice and rice and beans and oxtails, and I mean I had like a whole meal. Um, and um, it set me back. Of course, it set me back. Because then I ended up gaining back about like 2, 3 pounds, which you could imagine. Like I'm sitting here eating Jamaican food. So it kind of set me back. And so, I did have slip ups where I was like, I'm just going to eat breakfast, like just eggs and a protein, like eggs and sausage or something like that. I'm not going to go all out. But what happens is you introduce the temptation, so it starts to overwhelm you. And I did have days where I ate not a lot. It was like maybe 1 or 2 days. Like the day I had the oxtails, there was another day where I had eaten breakfast, just breakfast, eggs, and just sausage. So I was like, okay, that's not that bad. At least it's all protein. But see, then you start telling yourself that, and you're like, oh, it's not that bad. I'm eating just proteins, and it's a dangerous area to be in. So I struggled. I struggled, and the second week I did okay. And then I started again feeling like that antsy type of like, oh my God, like I want to eat food so bad. Because the other thing you're thinking in your head is like, well, at least for me, was like, after surgery, I'm going to be on a liquid diet for 2 weeks. Then I'm going to be on a pureed diet. And then I'm going to be on just a soft food diet. So it's going to be, probably a good 2 to 2.5 months before I can even really try to eat like a piece of chicken or something. And I'm like, oh my God, like it's gonna be so long before I can like really eat food. And I just wanna, you get to that point, you're like, I don't care. Like, you wanna have like, they call it like a last meal or a last dinner. And you just wanna go all out. So what I started doing was I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start eating a salad a day. This gives me something to look forward to. It has a little more substance. I can chew and eat food, and I feel like I'm eating. That was probably like maybe Monday or Tuesday of this past week. So like the 12th or the 13th or something. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to start eating salads before I go crazy. So I did start eating salads, and honestly, I just would get a salad from like Wawa, which is a gas station that we have around where I live. A gas station, but they sell food, but it's like quality food. It's not like gas station food. So I would just get a salad from there, and it had a little bit of chicken in it, had a little bit of cheese in it, and honestly, I was like, you know what? I don't care, because I'm literally gonna go crazy if I don't like eat actual food. So I started eating a salad a day. And honestly, it really helped me. And I started dropping weight. I honestly, at this point, have been losing about a pound a day. Um, and, it's still been a struggle. And I just recently had um, I guess you can call it like a relapse. And we traveled out of out of state, about an hour away, to go visit friends. And I had a protein shake that morning, but when we got to their house, we were hungry, and they had pizza. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to eat one slice, and then I'm going to order a salad and just wait for the salad to get there. Well, one slice turned into 3 slices. And I was just like, oh my God, what did I do? What did I do? What did I do? I can't believe this. What did I do? And at this point, this was yesterday. So at this point, I was at my, well, I am at my pre-surgery weight. So yesterday I weighed in on 264. And I had pizza, and I was like, shit, I'm probably gonna gain like 2 pounds off of this. What did I do? Oh my God, I'm only like 2, 3 days away from surgery, and I'm stressing and I'm stressing. And then, I ended up I had a salad, and I kind of was just like, you know what? You just got to be on it. So I did have a salad, and I came home, had a little bit of soup, and I was just like praying to God, like, please don't let me gain like 2 or 3 pounds. Like, I need to get, I need to be at this weight for the surgery. So this morning, I got up and I weighed myself, and I'm 263.5 pounds. So I don't know how, but I'm not gonna complain. Um, but it still doesn't make it okay that I was cheating. And but I'm gonna be honest about it because it really was very difficult for me. Most of my days consist of 3 protein shakes, some V8 juice, maybe some sugar-free Jello, soup like tomato soup. That's been the main soup I've been eating, tomato soup or chicken noodle soup, but I don't eat the noodles, just the broth and like the chicken and the vegetables. Um, Almond milk, chicken broth, beef broth. I mean, it can make you literally go crazy. And if you don't have the willpower, you will slip. And I did slip. And thankfully, I was able to catch myself quick. And it was only, you know, one meal of slipping. And it wasn't a whole day or 2 days or 3 days. It was just like, stop. You got to stop. And I would get myself back on track. And so today, like I said, today I weighed in at 263.5 pounds. And I actually believe my surgery weight is 264 or 265. I can't remember. So for me, I'm just like, just keep losing weight, because the more weight you lose, the better. Don't even worry. Just keep losing weight. Because I don't want to get focused on that number, because it's like once you hit that number, you want to be like, okay, I'm at my weight, so I can do whatever I want. So I don't even remember what it is. I think it's 264 or 5, but I'm at 263, and I got 2 more days. So I'm gonna stay strong, but I'm gonna be honest, it is a struggle. And really make sure you have a really good support system, because that's what's gonna get you through it. A lot of times when I would have my moments, my boyfriend would be like, "You don't need that," and he would put my hand down and he'd be like, "Don't do it. You work so hard. You're getting so much closer to surgery. Don't do it." And that's really important. And to know yourself, to know that when you start getting to those modes and feeling anxious and antsy and wanting to eat, don't surround yourself around people who are going to promote it and say, "Oh, you already lost 8 pounds. Treat yourself." No, because it can really be the decision of getting surgery or postponing it. And you don't want to be that person that has to get postponed. So um, that's my story. That's my advice. The pre-op diet for me was a struggle. For some people, it's easier. For some people, it's even harder. Um, and I'm not gonna lie to you, it is a struggle. It is a struggle, and you have to stay strong. And one thing that I can say and recommend is to keep yourself busy, because some of my best and easiest days on this diet was when I was at work and I didn't have to think about it. So keep yourself busy and moving and occupied, and you'll do great. You can do this.